Welcome everyone back to the Oneil Effect as we continue to work on the book and continue to talk about what the book is all about. I hope that you have been enlightened over the last few weeks as we spoke about the different chapters in this book and what we're hoping to achieve by having this book in your possession. And so I hope that you have been blessed over the last week. As we continue on this book, just want to give you some heads up. We are working on it still. It's in production. It's going through editing. And we're looking for this to be fully out of press by about the next maybe 8 months. And so I'm excited, and I hope that you are excited to get this book in your hand. And just to let you know that many of you have purchased this book pre-sale, and we can't wait to get it into your hand. And if you're looking to do the same, those of you who have not yet done that, it is still available for pre-sale at $20 per book. And we can reach out to you if you are looking to get this in pre-sale. But as we said, when this comes out, it will be available in all of the different platforms, such as Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Also, if you want it in any different format, you can also get it. So it will be available for everyone to have in whatever way in which you acquire your books. The last time that we were on, we ended this book on chapter 2. We were looking at chapter 2 and we were talking about, will I ever get a break? And some of the things that we looked at in chapter 2 is the constant sliding. That's the question I said that famously we asked ourselves, such as, will I ever get a break? And this comes with constantly moving away from your happy place. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, let me back up for a moment to let you know I'm Bishop Oneil Williams, and the title of this book is Stop the Procession. It is your time to win. And so we're hoping that something that will be said in the next few chapters will also minister to you. And so in the last chapters, I said we ended by talking about, will I ever get a break? And so one of the things that we talked about was that you developed a life that sometimes feel like it's constantly sliding away from your place of stability. And that there's a constant sliding. And when there's a constant sliding, it creates fear and intimidations. And so I gave an example of me being in a car situation where the car was sliding, and I felt like I could not control it. And what happened after that was every time I would go around that bend, rain or no rain, there was this fear that I'm going to slide in that area, because what that does, it creates for me a consistent, a constant fear of the area that I was in. And so that's one of the things that we face when it talks about, will I ever get a break? And so we're going to look at chapter 3 this evening. And in chapter 3, we're going to look at losing. This signifies that you are having you are having no control over what's going on in your life. It is the feeling of losing the grip on life. No one wants to be a part of a losing team. And when this happens, you start losing confidence in your own self. It messes with your self-esteem. Your confidence and your ability to think positively is now moving away, because now you're in a constant state of feeling like you can never win. One of the most devastating feelings a sport team, as I say, can have is when you are always losing every season, and no matter how you try, no matter how you paid the money to get the best players on your team, you ended up back in the same place you were a season ago. And so many of us, we find ourselves, we're in that situation, failing our marriages, having financial struggles. And so when this started happening, it creates for you a life of frustration. Well, in this book, I want to share with you that you're not alone. And so it's normal for us to go through that aspect of our lives, but understand something. You don't have to remain stuck in a losing place. Now, one of the things that consistent losing or feeling as if you're consistently losing does is that it creates frustration. Now, I want to ask a question. Have you ever experienced frustration because you just cannot win at anything? You have tried to accomplish things, but nothing is happening in your life. It seems as if everything you have touched just fall apart. The story of this book is about this woman in Maine who felt the same way, lost her husband, lost her son, and just a state of frustration. One writer stated that the aftermath of a frustration occurrence may lead to many emotional and if an affective response, such as acute stress, lasting anger, sadness, and rage. Those elements, often mixed together in a variety of proportions, constitute frustration. So when you're in that place of feeling as if you're constantly losing, that creates frustration, then it affects you mentally, it affects you psychologically, and it affects you physically. The purpose of this book is to be able to allow you to understand that those things will happen, but you do not have to remain in that position or that place that you're in. And what that also does is that it creates for you a sense of depression. There are a lot of people who are in that feeling of depression and don't know why. Maybe the reason for that is because you just cannot see yourself winning at anything. And because of that, it creates for you that frustration that creates those different psychological, emotional breakdown in your lives. Now, when this happens, it's an indication that frustration can lead to physical illnesses and emotional setback, and is one of the main reasons why you should not allow frustration to linger. So if you can win the battle over long-term frustration, then losing does not have to be permanent. And so what I want to share with you in this book is how you cannot allow this situation to be permanent in your life, and how to get over it if it feels as if it is taking up residence in your life. That's my aim. That's the purpose of this book. The other thing I want to look at, not just that consistent losing creates frustration, but losing does not have to be permanent. So in a synopsis of what I wanted to share based on this is that I used the analogy earlier saying that losing can be like a team that is constantly losing no matter what, and how much they try to turn the team around and nothing really happened. This woman, Nain, is about to experience that same situation where she feels as if no matter what she does, her life is never going to change until she runs into the right person. Sometimes you're in that place in your life and you feel as if it's permanent, but in actuality, it's because you have not ran into your deliverance yet, and it is coming for you. And so what I want to share in this book, when you get this book, I want you to get from this book is that even though you may feel that way, I want this to be the roadmap that helps you to get out of that place that you are in. And that is the place of feeling that you're always losing. Now, the key to experiencing a winning attitude is never to quit on who you are. I want to show you that, how important it is never to quit on who you are. The woman from Nain did not fully exit the city, which gave her an opportunity to experience a second chance. I want to say to you, whatever failed you yesterday does not necessarily mean it will fail you today. This reminds me of Peter. Didn't catch any fish. But when he ran into the right person, he went back out and catch more fish than his boat could ever manage. And so understand this, every one of us needs a divine encounter. And so sometimes you may not get it from just listening to a message. You may just understand where you are positionally in your life by just reading a book. And that's what this book is supposed to be. It is supposed to be that book that helps you to get out of that place of feeling as if you're permanently losing at everything you touch in your life. Now, as we continue on this, the other thing we need to understand is that consistent losing, feeling as if you're consistently losing, what it is actually a feeling. It's not your reality. And so what I want to show you from this book is not to allow that feeling to become your life, not to allow it to become the reality of your life. Now, I know we're going to say that, hello, Peter had a divine encounter and that is why he catches the fish. But if that is what you're thinking, then you have missed the moral of the story of Peter's life. It is not just about the divine encounter, which was in the works, but it was Peter's refusal to quit. You see, like life is like riding a bike. If you keep pedaling, you'll keep moving. If you stop pedaling, you will fall. So the purpose of this book is to help you to keep pedaling, to allow you to keep riding, to keep moving, no matter how many difficult times you come upon. Keep on riding. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight about chapter 3 in this book, and we're going to move on to chapter 4 in next week. And so I was so blessed to come on just to share with you just a synopsis of this book in chapter 3 and the essence of it, and how not to allow your life to stay in a permanent place of feeling like you're losing. Have a great night and be blessed.